Hi, good morning to my dear students. Today we are going to discuss about JSP. So JSP stands for Java Server Pages. So what is JSP? JSP is introduced by Sun Microsystem. It is one of the two web technologies from Sun Microsystem. See, there are two technologies in the technology concepts. Components are there in Sun Microsystem. One is Servlet, another is JSP. And also JSP is a J2EE technology. So J2EE technology. Actually, basically, Sun Microsystem uses three types of Java. One is J2SE, second one J2WE, third one is J2ME. So J2SE is core applications, core programs in order to develop, and J2EE meant for developing the business industry oriented business applications or web applications. And J2ME comes for the micro edition like mobile application developments. So JSP is one of the J2E technology. So and also JSP is a specification for web content manufacturers. Means JSP. So Sun Microsystem provides a specification, JSP specification for the web content manufacturer. So and web content manufacturer has to implement these specifications in order to run the JSP in its server. So one more point is JSP is used by the web application developers to develop interactive web applications. So and also capital JSP is the whole represents whole technology. Small JSP is a developed by the programmer. So one Java server page developed by the programmer. So basically JSP is a server side of a piece of code that enhances the functionality of the web server. So it enhances. So web server it cannot own provides the service responses to the client sometimes. So that by using some extra components, web server will provide a functionality to the clients. So by using JSP, we will enhance the functionality of the app server, right? So there are the points. If you know, you need to remember while talking about JSP. And then JSP is meant for creating the dynamic web resource. Dynamic web resource. So what is meaning of dynamic web resource? You know, based on the client name node, client request, web server dynamically prepare web page, okay, and hands over to the corresponding client. And one more JSP is a web component. Web component. So by using JSP, it acts as web component, right? JSP produce dynamic web content, nothing but dynamic web page. So basically, informally, we'll talk. The JSP contains HTML code and Java code, but whereas Servlet, HTML code written in Java methods, but in JSP, Java code can be written in HTML tags. So they, within the HTML tags also we can write the JSP code. Okay, so basic definition for the JSP is which contains HTML code and Java code, directly or indirectly. Fine. And what are the if you earlier classes we have discussed about servlets, and then what are the limitations of the servlet? What is the advantage of while introducing the JSP? See, while talking about servlets are excellent in request processing, request handling. So client request response paradigm servlets are excellent handling the request, but it is poor in presentation. See, if you poor in presentation means if you want to create dynamic web page, which is have effectively, but that definitely very big problem if you have if you use servlets. Why? Because business logic and presentation logic both held with servlets, right? So here coupling with the context happen while generating a code and presentation code, right? So such tightly couple happens. Some problems like parallel development is not possible. Code generation tools cannot be used effectively, and deployment time increases. Automatically, cost effective is lost. Okay, so it is very hard to maintain development administration maintenance problems occur if you use Servlet. Why? Because HTML code presentation logic tightly coupled with the business logic. Okay, right? So this is a limitation of the servlet. In order to overcome these limitations, some microservices use JSP, which is used for excellent presentation logic. Excellent in presentation logic. That presentation logic can be derived as dynamic web page, right? So uh, the advantages of JSP Solar Servlet, first point is extension servlet. So just it is an extension of servlet, not elimination of the servlet. So actually, what is the meaning of extension? Just if you write the JSP page while running the JSP page, that JSP will be actually converted into servlet. Okay, that's what extension to the servlet, and it is easy to maintain. It is easy to maintain means we can separate business logic as well as presentation logic. Okay, and then fast development. Why? Because no need to recompile, no need to redeploy. Okay, once JDP, if it has been modified, we don't need to recompile every deploy of the project. Automatically, it will be generated, right? And less code than the servlet. So why? Because already JSP supports inbuilt objects are there, so no need to write much code. While if you develop JSP pages, so that it is having less code when compared to servlets. Okay, so there will be an equivalent servlet for the JSP internally, right? So how it can be happen, you will see next. Next, some key points while writing the JSP. So JSP actually is a pure text file, but any name, but extension should be .jsp. .jsp. So a JSP neither HTML document nor Java file, but it contains both. So JSP file which consists of both HTML document, HTML as well as Java code, right? It's neither nor. So and JSP on its own cannot process the client request. It will be translated into servlet by JSP engine. Okay, that container generated servlet serves the client request. See, yeah, whenever client send a request to the corresponding JSP, so JSP engine take the responsibility, okay, to translate that JSP page into equivalent servlet Java file servlet. Okay, then that container servlet can serve the client request. Okay, it cannot own process the request, but it handles the request to the corresponding servlet by generating the servlet. So simply JSP engine, by generating the source code of the servlet, it will be hand over to the request to the servlet container. Okay, then servlet container take the responsibility to process the request, right? And while talking about developing a JSP is nothing but another style of developing a servlet. Okay, instead we write a servlet, we instruct the container to write a servlet for us, right? That is the meaning. Okay, so if we happen, why unnecessarily need JSP if it is internally converted as servlet means, because servlet is good at handling the request internally. So it is internally converted into servlet, right? So if it is servlet are good at handling the request, why unnecessarily developing the JSP? Okay, so means a servlet is tightly coupled and hence some drawbacks are happens. So because servlet tightly coupled business logic as well as presentation logic, so that some of the drawbacks are we should avoid, right? So using only servlet interactive dynamic web page cannot be developed with these. Okay, so finally JSP is not a program, it's just a page. It's just a page. So then now life cycle of this servlet. So life cycle of this servlet, sorry. Life cycle of the JSP, JSP life cycle actually described by 3 life cycle methods and 6 life cycle pages. The life cycle methods are what way actually servlet consists of life cycle methods. Okay, here also JSP init, So 3 life cycle methods. Those are JSP init, JSP destroy, underscore JSP service method. So these are built-in objects, references, request and response. Actually, this is a request for HTTP servlet request object, which refers which refers servlet response HTTP servlet response object. Okay, these are the 3 lifecycle methods of JSP, as well as the life cycle phase, or 6 life cycle phases: translation phase, compilation phase, instantiation phase, initialization phase, serving phase, destruction phase. So when it happens, simply I'll explain. Okay, next, whenever first client request sent to the JSP comes for the JSP, JSP makes read all the JSP file at a time and translate it into solid source code. So that is the meaning of translation phase. What actually is translation phase happen? Whenever first client request comes for the JSP, then JSP engine or JSP container makes make full read of the JSP. It reads the entire code of the JSP file, JSP page, and translates into equivalent servlet source code. That is the meaning of translation. Who's actually done? JSP engine. And then second phase, compilation phase, select source code is compiled into dot class file. Okay, dot class file, right? So, and the remaining 4 phases actually similar to the servlet life cycle. Okay, instantiation, initialization, serving phase, destruction, like that. Okay, right? So I'll show you pictorially JSP life cycle. So initially, the request sent to the JSP, request sent to JSP. Okay, JSP engine, okay, translate into .java file, and then it compile, Java compiler compiles into .c file. Then from now onwards, servlet lifecycle start. So from now onwards, servlet container will taking care of instantiation, initialization, serving, the request and destruction phase. So these things can be taken care by the JSP engine. Okay, remaining part will taken care by the remaining part will be taken care by the Select engine. Select engine. Okay. Next. So I will show you a pictorial representation of JSP lifecycle based on the client request. Based on the client request, these six pages based on the client request. I will give you 3 cases. Initially, if JSP is developed at first time and deployed. So then uh, first request comes for this JSP, that is my R1, right? So these 6 phases: translation phases, compilation phase, instantiation phase, installation, serving phase can be applied. And for the same JSP, come second request. So no need of translation, compilation, instantiation, installation. Only servicing phase is executed. Serving phase is executed. Okay. So if container restarted, suppose if container restart, second case is if container restarted. Okay, first request comes, so no need of translation, compilation, only instantiation, initialization, serving. Okay, and suppose some next request comes, only serving phase will be executed, right? And suppose source code of the JSP modified, suppose. So if the comes for this first request R1, okay, translation phase, compilation phase, instantiation phase, initialization phase, and serving phase will be done. Okay, and then actually this first case and third case is similar. Okay, nothing but already JSP file. What is the meaning of JSP modified? Already JSP file is there. If you do any modifications in the JSP file, once again comes to the request. So these 6 phases will be executed, right? This is a table representation of the JSP lifecycle. Okay. Next comes to the how to write a JSP file. So while writing the JSP file, the constituent elements of the JSP are okay, scripting elements, directives, actions. Okay, so there are scripting elements actually for direct embedding. What is the scripting element? JSP scripting elements for a direct embedding of Java code into the HTML. So already I told you JSP phase consists of HTML code plus Java code. So scripting elements are used to embedding the Java code into the HTML tags, HTMLs. Okay, so in order embedding the Java code into HTML, there are three ways we can embed by using three types. Those are declaration, expression. So JSP declaration scripting element, JSP expression scripting element, JSP scripting elements. Three ways. Let it be discussed these things later sessions. Uh, and second one is directives. This is actually indirect embedding of Java code into the HTML. So in the directive, base directives you can embed, include directives, tag lib directives you can embed into the HTML. And actions, JSP action, this is also indirect embedding of Java code into the HTML. There are standard and custom actions are there in JSP. Standard actions or action elements are include, forward, param, use bin, set property, get property. Customs actually we need to define custom actions. Okay, if you learn these, all those scripting elements, directives, and actions, our JSP development learning of JSP is over. Right. So here, first thing is we need to discuss how to write JSP file. Okay. So simply first I will take the part of scripting elements. Scripting elements. So in the scripting elements, there are three ways we can embedding the Java code, direct embedding of Java code into the HTML. Okay, we'll discuss these things. Right. Scripting elements. And the JSP scripting elements are used to embed the Java code into the HTML portion, nothing but JSP. So we will embed the Java code into HTML portion, right? That's the meaning. So we can embed JSP file, uh, Java code. The scripting elements are three types, three ways we can embed. One is declaration, expression, scriptlet. So what is the syntax of these things? How to write? I'll give examples, right? So declaration. This is the syntax declaration. Declaration. Okay. So JSP declaration simply is the syntax of the source, rectangular bracket, percentile, exclamatory mark. Okay, no spaces between them. Rectangular bracket, percentile, question mark, exclamatory mark. Okay, this is opening of the declaration, and this is the closed percentile and rectangular bracket. Between these, you can write Java code. So that the Java code maybe you can write class scope variable declaration, method definitions, class scope variable. So variables we can declare and method definitions also we can declare here. So example here, see int count equal. So this is a variable declaration. This is method, right? So like this statements you can write in a script declaration statements. Okay, what actually background it will happen now? This actually placed into the Java class scope variables, instance variable as instance variables, and methods are instance methods can be placed in appropriate in Servlet. Why? Because while JSP engine translates Java JSP file into corresponding Servlet file. Okay, so this method, what we have written in this declaration, that can be placed in as instance variables as well as instance methods, right? This is about declaration. Next, expression. The expression syntax of the expression like this. Okay, this also rectangular bracket, percentile equal. There is no space. Okay, this is syntax, and this is the end of the expression. So we can write only one expression. If you use this expression, you can write only one expression within this. Only one expression within this. Okay, so example a plus b. So if you want to print a plus b value on the console, in just using expression scripting element, you can print it. Okay, so and also request.get parameter. If you want from this, just you can use expressions, right? And these expressions actually going to be what exactly in yeah. Well, coming to declaration once again, the class scope variables that we are writing the within the syntax of the declaration. Okay, so during the translation phase, Java methods and variables of JSP declaration are placed in the container generated servlet at class scope. That is, as instance variables and instance methods as direct data members and data functions, member functions. Okay, and if you go to expression during the translation phase, nothing but JSP2 servlet, Java expressions is placed in service method. So these expressions will be placed in service method of the container generated servlet. Container generated servlet. Okay, and then if it comes to the scriptlet, the third one, scriptlet, the syntax of the scriptlet is only a turn bracket and a percentile, and whatever Java code if you write between that you can write Java code, right? Okay, so for example here request.get parameter, this as usual Java code what we are written servlet, that can we can place here, right? So during translation phase, the above this Java code will be placed in service method. Okay, whatever you have written with the within the scriptlet, that will be placed in service method of the servlet. Okay, so and expression and scriptlet are similar in certain aspects. Both are used for embedding the Java code directly, and both are kept in a servicing method only. Okay, service method only, and both are executed as many number of times the request comes from the client. So uh, this is the similarities of expression and scriptlet. Okay, and they are different in certain aspects. The differentiated expression has only one line of code, only one line of code, whereas scripted has many lines. So the difference between them, expression having only one line of code and scripted having many lines. Okay, and expression prints the output. That is, the value it returns is printed on browser, whereas the scriptlet is output is not printed unless it is mentioned. Okay, so this is about scripting elements of JSP. There are three scripting elements: declaration, expression, scriptlet. Okay, so the syntax you need to observe carefully. Where actually we can use it depends on the code, right? Next, the JSP implicit objects. JSP implicit object. So predefined conversions can be done by the JSP implicits. So while translation phase, while during the translation phase of JSP file to servlet, some of the predefined implicit objects are available in JSP. Those implicit objects are these nine, right? Nine implicit objects. So just I will tell you what are the uses. So already we used these implicit of these are the objects in servlets. These objects servlet. Okay. So HTTP servlet request. If you want to use that, just simply you said use in the JSP request object. Okay. Right. HTTP servlet response. Just you can use response object. And if you want to use HTTP session in JSP, just use session object. Select context. The object of the select context is application. Select config is config. And java.langget object, it will be available as implicit object as page. And JSP writer out. Page context. So you need to observe the difference. Page context, first letter is capital here. This is small letter. Okay, throwable. So exception, as exception, the object is available. So these by default objects are available if you write JSP. Okay, clear. Next, how to develop simple application. Already I explained same application in Servlet. Same thing I can give you information in JSP also. See, I don't want to repeat again all the points again. Just create the directory structure. Here my directory structure name is root directory is adding application JSP, and resource and development. Here the resources are why, because adding two numbers, right? So entering two numbers, number.html required, and add for performing addition, we are writing JSP only. So as usual, directory structure, what we discussed earlier classes, this is a directory structure. Okay, so we need to develop resources in step 2. So resource development, there are two resources. One is static web resource, that is number.html, and dynamic web resource, that is add.jsp. Okay, and this is number.html. Number.html. See here, this actually we same number.html we discussed in Servlet also, first application. So here request form action equal to add.jsp. What actually request goes to add.jsp, right? So in JSP we need to write retrieve the values from the corresponding text boxes. So the names of the text boxes are T1 and T2. Okay. Next file is add.jsp. See, I'm using a scriptlet here. Scriptlet the third way where I'm using, right? So in scriptlet I use scriptlet JSP element here. Why? Because it contains many lines of Java coding, right? So so first request object by default it is available. Request dot get parameter by passing text one T1, right? That okay. Request dot get parameter T2, that will be placed in string object a and comma b, and those can be parsing like typecasting happened. Okay, those variables values will be stored in n1 and n2, and then my business logic is performing addition of these two. Okay, so sum equal to, so finally the value of addition of these two numbers can be stored in sum. By this actually I need to send to the value of this sent to the client. Okay, for that see, within the JSP file only I have written HTML. So HTML body basic color, as when the sum is, since this is, up to this is pure text. After that I use expression syntax. Okay, percentage equal sum. So sum is a variable. To print the sum value, just I use expression. Okay, so that entire it will give a response to the corresponding client. Okay, these are the way we need to develop resources. Then after developing that, step 3 is deployment descriptor. So as a JSP, no need to register in web.xml file. Okay, it is possible but not required. Not required. But Servlet, if you have a Servlet, definitely those Servlets should be registered in web.xml file. Okay, after that, how to deploy? So as usual, like Servlet only. Okay, so copy entire application into the web apps directory. Okay, start the Tomcat server and then open the browser, enter this URL, enter this URL, then you will get the output. Anyway, how to write, how to execute this I will show in the classroom itself. Okay, thank you.